Hey there, neighbor. Julie Stonefelt here, coming to you from my homestead in the Snoqualmie Valley of Washington State. I'm excited to check in with you today and give you an update of our garden, as well as do a little demo on how to thin seedlings. So we're gonna head on over to the garden now and check that out. So we put these seedlings in the ground about 3.5 weeks ago, and then we had some of the hottest, driest weather we've had this time of year in a long time, as well as really struggled with wildfire smoke. So we had to water quite a bit, but we think that the heat probably really helped them do better than we anticipated. So as you can see behind me, we have lots and lots of growing happening. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and then just talk to you about what we're seeing. All right, so this is the north end of the garden, the bed farthest to the north. And I have alternated in a checkerboard pattern 2 different species or types of seed in each bed. So you can see that checkerboard here. And if you look really closely at the end, let me see if I can figure out how to show you this. You can see that I've got those little tiny tags that tell me what I've got planted in each bed, and on the back is the variety. But in this bed, we have a butterhead lettuce and some beets. And then in this bed, we have arugula and also beets, a different type of beet. In fact, these are a pacemaker. They're seeds I've had for 5 years or more since I was gardening in our urban homestead in West Seattle, but I accidentally planted them and they turned out really well. We've got more beets and another tender butterhead lettuce variety going on in here. And here we have a reddish brown butterhead. I think it's called Winter King Brown. And some carrots. Here we have the big leaves that you see are Runder Schwarzer winter radishes. And then we have a little lettuce planted in along with that. And here we've got arugula and kale. This bed I've already thinned once, but it really needs to be thinned again, actually. Here is a bed that is a cut and come again lettuce, and there's 2 different mixes in here, and what that really just means is that you can cut it and it'll continue to come up again and grow. So a lot of microgreens or baby green lettuces that you eat in restaurants or buy commercially are grown this way. This one on this side is an Ironman kind of a kale base, and this one's more of a butterhead base. They're both really lovely and delicious. Here we've got mustard. I think this one's called a dragon's tongue, which is such a lovely name for it. And then we've got some carrots, and this is a different species of carrot that's a little bit tougher to come up. I've also got some hoops. You may have noticed the other hoops and these hoops and clips, which are for covering the beds with blankets in the wintertime, or we can make them into little greenhouses with plastic. Here we've got some spinach that's going strong, as well as some beets. And it's sort of mid to late September right now, and all of these species were planted for their winter hardiness. We've got some different types of spinach here and some beets. What's interesting is these beds down here, they don't get quite as much sun, and you can really tell that they're not growing quite as quickly as the other beets that you saw earlier. Whereas this bed gets a little more sun and they're a little bit bigger. And this spinach is called Red Kitten, which I am a self-confessed crazy cat lady. I love my cats, and so it's fun to also grow a vegetable that pays homage to them. In this bed, we've got some carrots, and we're getting down to the shadiest part of the garden. And then these tender little ones are a mache, which are a green that can grow really well year-round in our area. And our last bed, we've got some more of the Runder Schwarzer radishes and another type of mache. All right, so we are at one of my garden beds where I'm going to talk you through how I do seedling thinning. And in a minute, I'm going to angle the camera down so that you can see more of what I'm working on rather than my face. But first, I just want to talk about what I use to thin my seedlings, which are these little garden shears I got at Harbor Freight. And I think they're mostly used for creating cut flower arrangements, but I love them because they're really easy to handle, they're easy to keep in my pocket, and they only cost about $2 or $3. So I'm going to give you a better view of the mustard greens. So this is the patch I'm going to thin, and what I'm looking for is about 4 across and 4 up so that there's plenty of space for them to grow. And I can look in here and I can see that you know, there's some good spacing here, but then there's a little bit too tight a spacing right here. So there's 2 plants and they're just a little too close together. And I do my thinning when the plant has at least 2 full sets of true leaves. So this tiny little leaf right here, I call it a baby leaf or a seed leaf. I think that the technical term is cotyledon. That's the first leaf that comes out. And then there's a set of true leaves and a second set of true leaves. So this is a good time to thin. And then I take a look at these 2 and I pick the one that is the smaller. Now these 2 are pretty close, but I'm gonna pick this one right here and I just cut right at the ground level. And the reason I cut at the ground level is because they're so close together that chances are that their roots are together as well. And by cutting it, the roots of the one that I've clipped will just naturally and slowly decompose. And then the other one, this one, its roots will go strong. Whereas if I pull it up, I might damage the roots on this one, and that might damage the plant as it grows. And then this one, it's nice and clean because we've recently had a rain, and it's gonna go right in the salad bowl. So that's a quick and simple introduction to my thinning. Now I'm gonna show you a speedy view of thinning a whole bed. So there you go. That is a quick early fall tour of the growing garden and the seedling thinning that I'm doing. And you can see I've got a great little salad for dinner tonight. Thanks for watching. Keep in touch.